Hello and welcome to UTC Plymouth's very live, first live open event. My name is Justine and I'm the Assistant Head of School here. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to our panellists that you'll meet today, who continue to remain completely enthusiastic despite our difficult circumstances, and also absolutely driven to give our young people the best experiences and life chances. A huge thanks to our brave Year 12, almost 13 volunteers, Ben and Victoria, who have volunteered to tell you about their experiences here, and my have they flourished. They will also form part of a question panel alongside 3 representatives from 2 of our biggest industry partners, the Royal Navy and Babcock. Our executive principal and our head of school will also be joining us, and of course our tireless strategic partnership and careers lead and head of Key Stage 5, Pete Bragg. Behind the scenes is our trusty head of maths, Jay. He's maintaining the question line. If you look to the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little tab that says Q&A. And if you click on that, it brings up a pop-up screen and you can type questions in there. Please use it. Jay will be answering any individual questions as they arise, and we'll direct any popular themes to our panel at the end. So let's start our virtual open day with a tour of our great facilities. So step inside and enjoy seeing where the magic happens.
Welcome to UTC. My name's Justine. Let's go and take a look around. So this is our ground floor learning hub, and also what would ordinarily be the canteen. It's not normally how it looks because of the current climate. We have our students working in their boxes, but normally this is a real hive. It is the beating heart of the school. It's where we eat together, where we socialise, and at the moment you can see it's being used for some brilliant learning. And welcome to where all of the action happens. So this is the first of our engineering workshops. We have state-of-the-art equipment, we have industry standing working practices, but I'd like to introduce you to our head of engineering.
Hello, I'm Alan Austin. I'm the head of engineering at UTC Plymouth. We're in the engineering workshops at the moment. This is our project area and our CNC machining area. We have state-of-the-art machinery. It's all industry standard. We have a CNC milling machine and a CNC lathe. We also have smaller machines, which are CNC as well, but they use them for the Formula 1 in schools projects. As we walk through, we're just coming in to the hand skills area and the machining area. It's a nice big space. We've got plenty of bench work here, so students can do hand skills. We've also got plastic forming. This is industry standard, from injection moulding right through to vacuum forming. As we're walking through, we also have a forge area, which we can do sand casting. We can also do a bit of metal bashing, which is forming metals using compression. And now we're in the machining section. We've got 2 milling machines and 3 lathes. All of the machinery in here is exclusively used for all of the year groups. We're planning to make sure that everyone gets to go and everyone has a chance to use industry standard machinery. We're now in the automotive and welding workshops. In here we have cars, as you can see if we're walking through. The students will be in here stripping the cars down, learning about MOTs and services and how a car works, the basic components. We do a lot of projects, so we've got project cars around a lot of the time. We're walking now into the fabrication and welding area, where we have a CNC plasma machine, again state-of-the-art industry standard. We also have fabrication machines for folding and cutting metal. And then just in front of me we have welding bays. The welding bays incorporate MIG, TIG and Opti assessment welding. And then we have our classroom space within the workshop where we can always break away to do any lessons that we need to.
So this is a playground for our budding carpenters, as well as facilitating all of these amazing vocational and practical skills. It is absolutely crucial that our young people develop the academic rigour that's needed to get the qualifications that give them choice. Here is one of our computer suites, and they are fully equipped with all of the vocational and academic software that you need to succeed. We're in one of our product design rooms. This space is mainly used for electronics, but we also do a lot of design work. So here is one of our academic classrooms, an English room. It is absolutely critical that our young people leave with a very good, well-rounded suite of qualifications, in particular English, maths and science, because our partners need them in order to offer those apprenticeship places. Maths. It underpins the whole of our STEAM curriculum, and this is another one of the spaces where you will learn how maths can be applied in a very practical way, and without it you will not be able to apply the skills that you're learning in the workshop. Science is the S in STEAM, and this is one of 5 laboratories in which you'll be exploring, you'll be experimenting and getting all of that knowledge and skill set that you need to be successful. Welcome to one of our breakout spaces, which every year group has as their own. We meet here every morning for our professional briefing to set us up for the day ahead. They are used as social spaces and sometimes quiet spaces where we can give support on a one-to-one level if needed. So this is our sixth form space. It is a space for independent learning. It is a space for applying for jobs, for applying for apprenticeships, and of course for socialising. This space will currently be transformed into a super mugger with flood lighting where all of our PE lessons will take place. I hope you enjoyed your tour. Please visit our website if you'd like to apply. The information is on there. Alternatively, call the college and one of us will be more than happy to speak to you.
So what is a university technical college? To explain the concept and how we directly feed into community and global STEAM industries and our vision, values and ethos, please welcome Holly Lovell, our Executive Principal, and Joe Ware, Head of UTC Plymouth. If you could just tell us a little bit about who we are and what we do.
Absolutely, Justine, and thank you. I always get so excited when I see UTC film because it is a brilliant place to learn. So as you can see, it is a very different place, and a little history about UTC movement. We're part of a national network where there are 48 UTCs across England, educating over 14,000 students. And supporting those students are our employers, and those are a really important part of the UTC. So 400 employers and universities across the UK. So the why is really important. Why the UTCs? So we have a widening skills gap globally. So between 2011 and 2015, the Employer Skills Survey estimated that the number of vacancies due to the skills shortage had doubled from about 91,000 to 209,000. And those numbers just kept growing. And the problem will continue to grow unless we addressed it as a country to plug that gap and provide the skilled workforce, hence the UTC movement. In Plymouth, the local context, 10% of our jobs are marine related, and overall 55% of employment is STEM related. So a massive amount of jobs out there, lack of skills. So there's a strong advanced manufacturing industry in Plymouth, and the UTC in Plymouth works closely with our partners, Plymouth Manufacturing Group, Babcock and the Royal Navy, as well as a range of different partners across the city. So UTC does give the opportunities to progress well into great careers through our specialist curriculum. And what students tell us is that they feel that the curriculum is focused on their next steps. It's real. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Jo Ware, who will tell you a bit about the UTC Plymouth experience. Thank you, Jo.
Thanks so much, Polly. It's just always fascinating to hear about the importance of our curriculum with regard to the STEAM and filling those gaps, particularly within Plymouth, but also beyond. And we absolutely pride ourselves here at UTC Plymouth in following a real rich curriculum. It's very broad in the sense of the fact that we do mix our highly academic subjects with our vocational subjects. However, we are really, really focused on preparing our young people to be able to fill those gaps in the STEAM industry. What we also pride ourselves on are our core values, and these are something that are absolutely non-negotiable for all of our staff and all of our students. So our core values of respect and resilience, which again has been incredibly important at this time, dedication and discipline, and perhaps the most important one for us right now is preparing to be professional. What we do is we have I think, a fantastic behaviour policy based on these core values. What basically happens is you are graded every lesson out of 5. And at the end of the week, if you get an average of a 4.0 or above, then you get to have an earlier finish on the Friday afternoon. This again mirrors what a lot of our companies do, particularly Princess Yachts. And what we then do is we work with our students that might need some extra support in the areas of these core values. But I promise you now, it doesn't take long for everyone to be on board. Teaching and learning is at the key to our success and our priorities at UTC Plymouth. And we absolutely pride ourselves on the fact that over the last couple of years, we have rapidly grown, and we are really excited to be welcoming over 300 students through our doors in September. One of the other things to kind of let you know about UTC Plymouth, if you aren't aware, is we allow our students to call us by our first names from year 7 right up to year 13. Again, we're preparing for the world of work. We pride ourselves on being professional, and we treat each other as colleagues. So it's therefore really, really important that people that attend our college follow our key values. Our partners work with us to support us, and they are really excited to provide industry mentoring, which I'm sure you'll hear a little bit more about later on. I think I'll stop there, Justine, because I could carry on for hours.
That's wonderful, thanks, Jo. Please don't forget to ask any questions using the tab below. There's some great ones coming through already, I noticed. However, our student voice panel holds great value here at UTC Plymouth. We listen to our students, and they've contributed some questions for this open event, which they think you'd like answered by our principals. And if Pete could join us too, that would be great. So that's Jo, Polly and Pete. And we've got a lucky dip of questions that the students have provided. So if we could start with you, Polly, what is different? What is different about a UTC?
Really good question. I think one of the main differences, especially for staff who come to work at a UTC and for students, is that our staff are from industry backgrounds. So although they have their teaching qualifications, all of them have come through industry, and that gives them a real understanding of like those professional requirements that you have to get students work ready. I also think that our work experience program is second to none. It gives students the opportunities to work with professionals in professional settings, used to interviews, used to writing CVs. That whole process is very, very simple for those students, for our students. Our mentoring scheme gives opportunities to meet with a mentor from industry over 6 times over the year. I don't think any school would give you those opportunities. And finally, I think we're quite relentless in our attention to detail, ensuring that we've got those really high standards of academic experience, but also care for our students. It's a really warm place that students want to be. They feel cared for. And finally, our parental communication. We're really strong on seeing that as a real partnership between our families and our staff. Thank you.
Lovely, Polly. And you've steered the helm through some quite quick and quite radical changes. What are your top 3 priorities for the UTC in the coming year?
Okay, so I think the main one is to ensure that our students are really equipped with the knowledge and the skills to prepare them for the next steps. That always has to be at the forefront of what we do as a college. Secondly, right now, in terms of the climate we're in, having come out of the pandemic and opening in September fully, we've got to ensure that those gaps are really plugged for our students. So we've got a program of recovery to ensure that students make up those gaps that they would have experienced from not having that formal face-to-face teaching. And then finally, our high quality standards of teaching are really strong ethos that we've talked about, and that character education, I think, really meets the needs of industry and it empowers young people. So those things are really at the forefront.
Excellent, thanks, Polly. And a question for you, Joe, and I think our students have been a little bit tricky. How would you like your students to describe you as head teacher?
Oh, thank you to the students. I wasn't expecting that. How would I like them to describe me? I feel like I'm on interview. No, I think I would like to say that they would describe me as someone who is really organised, somebody that is determined and resilient. Given the current situation, there was absolutely no doubt in my head that we weren't going to open on June the 15th, and we absolutely have. So I like to think that they would appreciate all of the hard work that went into that. I like to think I was incredibly fair, and again, back to my high expectations, I think they would say that I like to clean all the time and make things very tidy, and probably make them the same as well. So I think those are the things they would say about me.
I think they'd also appreciate Fun Friday as well. Fitness Friday, Fun Friday.
Family Fitness Friday. Yeah, I think hopefully they would say that they enjoyed that, being able to wear their amazing like PE kit and their tracksuit on Fridays, have our family brunch and join in with our fitness. So yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. And on a bit more of a serious note, Joe, what advice would you give to students in these extraordinary times?
I think that regardless of whether you are joining or thinking of joining from a year 7 perspective, which is our brand new year group, never had year 7 before, right up to sixth form, I think that there still could be quite a lot of anxiety and uncertainty. My advice would be to kind of really look inside yourself and draw upon those core values that I've talked about, and realise that it's absolutely okay to feel uncertain, but also to feel quite excited, because we are at a point now where we are starting to move on, which is really important. And I think that the messages that have been coming out at the moment in society, I'm thinking about Boris Johnson's message, is that our young people now are part of the rebuilding of our future. And so there are many, many opportunities for all of us to get involved in rebuilding our environment, our society, and all of those options that I think that, you know, are out there for people. So it's okay to be feeling anxious. If you are, ask for help. If you are thinking about coming to the UTC and you're not sure, perhaps, you know, get in contact with us, and perhaps we can help to support you with whatever your next steps may be.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Joe. And that leads us wonderfully to Pete Bragg. Are you there, Pete? Hello. We need to see your video.
Should be there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You are. Hi, Pete.
How are you doing?
So a couple of questions for you. So Joe's alluded to perhaps some anxiety, a little bit of unknown territory in terms of examination results and whatnot. What are the options if Key Stage 4 results are not as expected?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, Justine, and something that we've got and we've put together. We've put different pathways for students that are coming through from post 16. So we've got 3 offerings that we can offer. We've got 2 at level 3. So we've got a BTEC level 3 qualification in engineering manufacturing. We've also got a qualification in information technology that's linked to IT and computing. So those level 3s, students would need to be obtaining 4s and 5s in their GCSE maths, English, and ideally physics. And then, like you said, if the Key Stage 4 results aren't exactly as expected for a student coming through that program, then we've got an opportunity to have that maths and English resit. And then a level 2 engineering qualification, which we've got as the PEO, which is the Performing Engineering Operations qualification, which is a really good course for those that are sort of destined to want to go into a trade apprenticeship. So it's a real hands-on practical learning opportunity. You'll be using kit like behind me here with a CNC. You'll be learning a lot about CAD. You'll be learning about 2D drawing. You'll be learning a lot about tool operating, machine operating. And it sets students up on the 1-year program to be in a position to then apply for the apprenticeships once obtaining those maths and English GCSEs at level 4. So probably a bit of advice I would say is those results come through on the 20th of August, is go to your school, collect your results, have a little thought about what you've got there, and then get in contact with us. We're going to be open from 11 p.m. to 1 p.m. on the 20th, so come and drop in and have a conversation with us. We're more than capable of probably offering a route for anybody with what results they've got.
Excellent. And I've just noticed a flurry of emails and a little bit of activity on our social media pages as well, Pete, because final destinations starting to come through. What can you tell us? What are students up to? Where are they going?
Yeah, we've got a really good destination data history, and given the current climate for this year, it's looking really positive again as well. So this year we've got a bit more of a trend of students actually applying to higher education and going to university. So we've got great links with the University at Plymouth. We've got our first cohort that are graduating from that level 3 IT qualification that have all been offered places at Plymouth University, results pending. We've got 3 students that are looking like they're going through to the accelerated apprenticeship, which is within the Royal Navy. And I know Paul Latterly is going to talk a little bit more about that, but that's leaving with a starting salary of £32,500 off of a level 3 qualification. So at 18, 19, someone could be earning that salary is fantastic, and that direct route into engineering. And then we've got students that have been picking up apprenticeships with our local supporting companies, Babcock, Princess Yachts, and then we've just been in touch with Rittal this week, and they've come to us and approached us asking if we've got any students that might want to go on to their level 2 and their level 3 program. So it's all very positive in quite an uncertain time. So things are looking good.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Pete. And I know there was an awful lot of information there, which is all detailed on our website at www.utcplymouth.org. So if you didn't quite catch that, please feel free to go and do some digging. And as Pete said, importantly, we are actually open on results day. Can you just remind me of the time, Pete, please?
So we're available for drop-ins for new sort of prospective students from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Thursday the 20th of August.
Socially distanced, of course.
Sure, yeah.
Thank you very much, Pete.
No worries.
So moving on, now to hear from some of our students themselves. So we have Ben and we have Victoria, who are going to tell us a little bit about what UTC Plymouth is like from a student's perspective. So welcome, Ben, Victoria, would you like to join us, please?
Hey.
Hello. Hi, Victoria. Hi. You there, Ben?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. As you can see, Victoria and Ben are currently volunteered to join us from home. So if I start with Victoria, Can I ask you how UTC has prepared you for the next stage of your journey? Because you're year 12 going into year 13, and I know how very ambitious you are. So how is UTC preparing you?
I would say with all the opportunities you give, so like the industry mentors, so we always have someone to talk to if we need any questions, queries. And then I would also say the industry coffee morning, where there was so many different like companies in, and we got to ask them all for like the opportunities they give. And then the work experience in the dockyard, so you got a week to understand how like Navy life really is. And also with the project EES, so we got to work with Babcock and the Royal Navy, and actually got to like build a project with a scenario which would work in the Royal Navy.
And what did you build, Victoria?
We built a ROV.
Would you like to explain to our viewers what that is? Because we might not know.
Underwater motor sort of thing. So it's called named Dave, and it's to clean the hulk of I think it's a Type 23 frigate, and because it gets dirty at the bottom of the boat, we certainly need to remove the deep proof. So we've decided that the motor will go underneath and will remove all the dirt from the boat.
It's amazing. You're inventing, you're engineering, you're creating, and it's something, again, we're incredibly proud of in terms of having the opportunity with our partners to do that. It makes it real, doesn't it? Have we helped you in confidence, Victoria?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't feel like I was very confident beforehand. Now I just like really enjoy getting hands-on work and stuff like that.
You do, and you're also part of our CCF as well, aren't you? Would you like to? That's our combined cadet force. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what you're doing in there?
Yeah, so in cadets we obviously go through drills and stuff like that, but it's really nice to like get a sort of understanding of what, like, because the next step I want to do is join the Navy, but it's nice to get like some sort of, not like, sort of get an understanding of what I would sort of be doing in the actual Navy.
Absolutely, that's brilliant. Thanks, Victoria. Ben, a few questions for you now. So why did you come to UTC Plymouth, and if you could explain what's different about us from a student perspective, that would be great.
Yeah, well, I had a real interest in engineering and the Royal Navy, and it was suggested to me by friends who were in the Royal Navy and parents' friends, and I came to look, and UTC just seemed like such a different environment to normal school. It was there was a brilliant mix of hands-on work experiences. It was right next to the dockyard where the Navy are based, so we had brilliant experiences of being able to go and visit the dockyard and see the ships and meet people from the Navy, and it also gave me the qualifications to be able to move on to what I would like to do in the Navy or in other engineering organisations.
Rookie mistake, I need to unmute. Thank you very much, Ben. And what opportunities have you had here so far?
So right near the start, I joined the combined cadet force, like Victoria was speaking about. So that's brilliant to learn about Navy life and learn about the little things that will give me a bit of a head start in the Navy and give me a better understanding. Like I said, we have lots of trips to the dockyard and to our UTC's engineering partners. So that gives me a real good understanding of not just the Navy, but of Babcock, Princess Yachts, of all these different engineering companies and how they work. And just the learning itself is really, really hands-on and informative, and gives you really good engineering skills and knowledge to pass on to our further career.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ben. So with 100% of our cohort last year, as Pete mentioned, moving on to STEAM-based destinations, our employer links are critical. and absolutely crucial not just to our student development but also to our curriculum development and also our character values that we instill pastorally in our young people. We are honoured to have Paul Youngman. He is a Royal Navy Liaison Officer, and he's here to tell us a little bit about that, how practically Royal Navy are involved in with our students. Hi Paul, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you for the invite this afternoon to talk to you about the roles of the Royal Navy and what we do, and then how we specifically get involved with UTC Plymouth. So that's what we'll do. So what do we do as a member of the Royal Navy? Well, we help to stabilise the high seas, keeping the maritime trade that's the lifeblood of the UK economy flowing. We act as a guardian, a diplomat, a humanitarian force for good, and a peacekeeper on the global stage. So what does that really mean, and who are we looking for? Well, the Royal Navy is a family of more than 30,000 highly skilled men and women, and they come from all sorts of backgrounds and different ways of life, but they're united in one purpose, and that purpose is to excel. It's their hard work and expertise that make the Royal Navy the best in the world. So much so that even during the COVID crisis that we're going through at the moment, we're continuing to deliver on our operational commitments and to be well trained and ready for any unpredictable future. So what are the roles and what do we do in the Royal Navy? Well, the first thing we do is we're here to prevent conflicts. Our presence on the world stage sends a powerful message, and we're ready to deploy at a moment's notice to deter anybody that might want to act as an aggressor towards the UK. Obviously, we need to protect our economy. As an island nation, the UK depends on the seas for its prosperity. We act as an enabler of trade, supporting the British economy to survive and to thrive. We then need to form international partnerships. The UK relies on strong ties with our partners around the globe, and we support those relationships to ensure the prospects of our nation. For example, we need our engineers, the Babcock engineers, to design new frigates. We're recently looking at designing the Type 31E frigate, which is a vessel that's been designed for trade, a vessel that's been designed for export. The next thing that we need to do is we need to be ready to fight to protect the UK. We are a member of the armed forces and we are a fighting force if any diplomacy might fail. We do what it takes to protect our nation's interest, to enforce UN resolutions and to aid our allies. The motto of the Royal Navy, si vis pacem para bellum. And that's Latin, but what it actually means is, if you wish for peace, we need to prepare for war. That brings me on to the providing security of the high seas. With over 600,000 UK jobs depending on the maritime industry and maritime trade, security of the sea is vital to our success. So that is what we do on our day-to-day type role. Finally, we provide the humanitarian assistance that's required around the world. We provide life-saving support, aid, hands-on capabilities following a crisis, from hurricanes to floods to tsunamis, and finally to epidemics. And the one we're dealing with at the moment is obviously COVID-19. And we have one of our ships currently in the West Indies working with that and helping those people based in the West Indies. The ship's company of the HMS Prince of Wales, one of our Queen Elizabeth class carriers, are currently working in Hampshire, and they're helping to provide testing for COVID-19. So what sort of person are we looking for? Well, certainly we're looking for people like Ben, people like Vicky. Joining the Navy isn't for everybody, but as a rating, you've got to have determination and a real sense of adventure. So how do we support the UTCs? Well, out of the 48 UTCs around England, 11 are affiliated to the Navy. And we're committed to ensuring that men and women have got equality of opportunity in terms of accessing our Royal Navy Engineering Officer and Artificer Technician roles, which are related to STEM. Now, we don't recruit directly from the UTC, but we are here to offer the students the advice that will allow them to make an informed career choice in a STEM future, and the opportunities available throughout the maritime industry. So I alluded to shipbuilding earlier, and we work very closely with Babcock International. And to be honest, As long as we're recruiting engineers, telling you, advising you where are the best places to work, then that will work for us. What we are able to do in the UTC is to provide role model engineers, technicians and apprentices, which will help promote STEM related careers. So don't be surprised if you were to see a sailor in the classroom, maybe teaching maths, and certainly in the engineering workshops. We also offer regular engineering competitions and visits, and I'd just like to mention a couple that haven't yet been mentioned. We run an annual competition, the Junior Leader Field Gun Competition. This helps with team building and it allows you to work very closely with your friends and colleagues. And people talk very highly of the Junior Leader Field Gun Competition, and they will explain how great it was with the physical attributes, but more so about their team building attributes that they gained whilst doing that competition. Each UTC is invited to join that Junior Leaders Field Gun Competition, and we train annually each year for 2 weeks. The final competition is held at HMS Collingwood in Portsmouth. We then have the Royal Navy Engineering Challenge, where you'll be given an engineering task. This is something that you will possibly be invited to do in year 10. And here we will set you a problem, usually with the use of an ROV, a remotely operated vehicle, and we'll give you some problems that need to be solved. Obviously, they will involve water, and they can involve broken down pieces of equipment on land, which will need to be moved about. Again, that involves a final competition, which is down in Portsmouth and happens annually. This year, in fact, the competition is planned for the 21st of October. We then do a visit suite. We invite members of UTC to come down and visit HMS Collingwood and HMS Sultan, which are our two main engineering schools in Portsmouth. And during that week, you'll have a good look around at the different roles, the air engineering, marine engineering, and the weapon engineering. Very interesting week, particularly down at Collingwood, when you look at all the different weapons that are available and systems that we use with the Royal Navy. And what makes that even extra special is you can expect to be living on board HMS Bristol for the week when you're down there. Victoria alluded to the Engineer Education Scheme. This is very good. It's run by the Engineer Development Trust, and having been successful with that scheme, it's likely that you could be awarded the Gold Industrial Cadet Award. And here we look for a real-time engineering problem within the service, and we look at different ways that we can solve those problems. So this year, as Victoria said, they were designing a remotely operated vehicle which would help clean the underside of the hull of a Type 23 frigate. Okay, so there's a quick insight into what the Navy do and how we get involved with UTC Plymouth. I think what is key is that I'm available at any time that you're in the college, either in person or by telephone. I work very closely with Peter Bragg, looking at extracurriculars activities outside of the college. And if you've got any queries about a career in the Navy, I'm able to signpost you and put you in touch with our specialist advisors that will give you any information that you require. Okay, I'll be around if there's any questions at the end. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you, Justine.
That's wonderful, Paul. And thank you so much. We most do benefit from your experience on a daily basis. I'd now like to introduce our colleague Matthew Cook. He is Apprentice Development Manager at Babcock. He's the interviewer. He is a key decision maker in the apprenticeships offered at Babcock. So thank you very much for joining us, Chris. Can you tell us what attributes your company is looking for in young people and your experience perhaps interviewing UTC Plymouth students?
Good afternoon. Yeah, we've interviewed a lot of applicants for the forthcoming apprenticeship scheme recently. Some of the skills attributes we're after. We like people to be well motivated and enthusiastic. We like people to be keen to learn. People that learn faster, learn more, tend to be committed to what they're learning. The more interest they show in learning, it's always the case that they'll get more from it. We like people to be hardworking. It is busy on site. There's a range of different work across all the different trades that we've got people working on. But people need to be willing to work hard. That's a skill that's always noticed and appreciated. We like good communication skills. There's a lot of different people work on site, and we all need to communicate. So we like people to have good communication skills, and that is something that we're looking at certainly at the interview process. Teamwork and social skills. It's a big site, lots of people, a very diverse workforce. We all need to get on. Sometimes it's difficult, but we need to be able to all get on with each other, no matter how busy we are, how stressed we are, no matter how bad a day we're having. Somebody else is having a bad day as well. We've got to understand each other, and we've just got to get on. You don't necessarily need to know everything when you turn up. But what we're looking for, as I said, is people that are keen to learn. I can't stress that enough. Having interviewed a lot of people recently, the people that came across as enthusiastic, interested, just wanting to learn and wanting to gain as much as they can from training programs, I mean, that just comes across, and it stands out a mile off. And you can just, if you get a feeling that somebody is going to be easy to teach, they're going to want you to show them things, it just leaves a really good impression. We've got to sort of decide who we think are the best candidates to take on, and we're looking for people that just want to learn as much as they can, but people that are going to ask questions, look at things, wonder about how things work. Also, one of the key things, a key message we always try to get across, you've still got to have all your key skills. We are very, very strict that we will insist that people have got either a grade 4 in maths and English or a predicted grade if you haven't sat your exams yet. We know that people that are applying for apprenticeships, they like practical work, they want to be doing hands-on, but part of the training, there is still an academic side of it. People will still have to attend college and learn the theoretical side of the job. If your maths and your number skills aren't developed enough, it's just going to be very, very difficult. So a key message from us is maths and English as well. I think I've covered everything.
That's great, Matt. And I don't know why I was calling you Chris earlier. I'm really sorry. I think it must just be on-screen nerves. But thank you so much for a very detailed response, and a very practical response as well, in terms of the academics that's needed, as well as that practical, or that enthusiasm for practical work. And hopefully we have some viewers out there who you'll be meeting in the near future, and that can come in armed with advice from yours truly. So thank you very much. And Matt will be in our Q&A panel at the end as well. If you have any questions, please don't forget that tab at the bottom there. Get them down. If we can't answer them there and then, or in the time designated for our questions, we'll get back to you individually. So thank you very much, Matt. Representing Babcock, we also have Hannah Rose, and Hannah is an expert in early careers advisors, which means, well, tell us what that means, Hannah. Welcome.
Right. Hello there, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Yeah, so basically my job here at Babcock is as a resourcing and early careers advisor. So where a lot of your students recognise me from is going to a lot of your career fairs. And I have to say, I've always been so impressed with your students when I've been at career fairs, and they've been a real breath of fresh air. So thank you. So my job is to work with the schools and with the colleges to promote our apprenticeships, and to also sort of like help people understand like the career paths that we offer within Babcock. So we very, very much offer apprenticeships, but also if somebody decided, you know, to go to college and then further on to university. We do actually have a graduate programme as well, so we work very closely with the unis as well. So there is such a huge volume of work within Babcock. Now with sort of like regards to the apprenticeships, we've got obviously very good engineering apprenticeships, and it was wonderful to see in your fantastic video that you played at the beginning, which was showing, you know, the potential students and the students the workshops. And I eyed up some CNC machines there and fabrication, and these are elements that we, you know, as we all know, there is a skills gap, and we are very, very keen on recruiting fabricators, pipe fitters, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, and your curriculum and your workshop really fits with what we're looking for within the apprentices. And also, you're you're a great college and at school as with regards to your STEM activities. So I know Peter Bragg, you know, has very much supported Big Bang in Plymouth, so we've attended your events there. We've also attended events with regards to one of the primary school activities that you set up, and one of our real key things which we're very proud to be partnered with as well is our mentoring scheme, which is organised by one of our STEM coordinators. So it's just absolutely fantastic working with you, and you guys have really got to understand what local employers are looking for in terms of employability. And you can see that, you know, as I said, when I've met your students at the career fairs, you know, they come along and, you know, the younger students will have like a lot of set questions and they'll come and ask us, and it's really interactive. So yeah, that's why we love working with you guys.
That's great, Hannah. Thank you very much. And of course, we love working with you.
Thank you.
We'll be on our panelists for any questions, so please get them down. I know that Jay's squirreling away in the background, doing what he can. Now, our final panelist before we move on to our Q&A session is a very special treat for us indeed. So I'd like to introduce Adam Engelhart. He is a current Babcock apprentice and also Utc Plymouth alumni student. So welcome, Adam, and thank you again very much for giving up your time. Hi. Just to give us a little insight into your journey, Adam. So the big question that we all want to know is, getting down to the nitty-gritty of it all, how did UTC prepare you for your journey?
Yes, well, thank you for having me. Basically, with education, really, I came from just a normal secondary school, really, and I always wanted to pursue engineering. And so I looked around, and you suddenly realise that the everyday secondary schools and colleges, you don't have the access to the engineering. And so I looked around and I saw UTC, and as soon as I came to visit, I knew straight away it was a place where I could get into engineering. And once I joined, I was so happy with the. For instance, you walk in for a tour, and the workshop got great equipment, and you got industry experience to go with it, which really helped me to get into engineering, and also that setup from the staff, and that really helped. For instance, with my interview with Babcock, I'm a second year hire apprentice. Doing mechanical, and straight away within the interview, I felt I could talk on their kind of level. I was talking about the same things. I felt really connected with the interview, and I think the main thing from that is because of the experience I gained from being in the workshop, and the experience that the staff had, and also I wouldn't have been able to get there without the kind of recruitment opportunities. So for instance, going around and visiting all the different local companies and going on visits and having the breakfast mornings with employees coming in, it really helped kind of set things up for me. And also not only that, but extracurriculum. I got to do field gun. I was very privileged to do that and do that 3 years in a row. And I love that. Great teamwork skills you gain from that. You've got 18 people working as one, and it needs to work as a well-oiled machine. And by the end of that week, you all really bonded together and value teamwork as part of your day-to-day life, really. And lastly, CCF. I was part of CCF as well, making the most of those extracurricular activities. And so CCF really helped me to get out and do extra activities and kind of carry on bonding and working with everyone else. And overall, that set me up well in getting a good career. And I'm pleased at where it's got me.
Thank you very much, Adam, and we're incredibly proud of you as well and everything that you've achieved so far, and we wish you the best of luck in all of your future endeavours. And you know where we are, there's no need to be a stranger, because I know that our students would love to hear about your journey as well.
Yes.
Thanks very much again. Adam's going to be part of our panellist Q&A panel later.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Adam. So time to move on to those questions. So whether you are a current student or parent of a current year 5 student, a year 8 student, a year 11 student, whether you are year 13 and you're a bit stressed about perhaps a year 14, please ask your questions and we'll answer what we can. So if all of our panelists would like to come back and we can have a look and see what's pushed through. So we have a question: is the virtual tour available on the website? It isn't at the moment because it's just been previewed the last couple of days, but it most certainly will be, hopefully, by the end of the week. So question 2, I think this one would be for Joe. What kind of extracurricular activities do we have for younger down the school? Joe?
Okay, thank you. So obviously you've heard about quite a lot of our extracurricular activities that we've had, and as we haven't had the younger students before, they haven't obviously had a chance to do those things. And whilst, for example, field gun and CCF is for our older students, we certainly want to start to bring down those kind of teamwork and leadership opportunities into our lower school. We are really looking forward to having our new students and then joining part of our UTC Council, because we very much pride ourselves on listening to our students and student voice. Some of the things this year that we've done with our students, we've had obviously an engineering club, but also what we have done is we've developed our sports teams. We have a football team now for the first time, and we have our rugby team, and obviously we are looking forward very much to our multi-use games area being built. The only reason that hasn't started yet is obviously down to the current circumstances, but we really hope that that's going to be ready for the new for January. That's kind of our time frame, so fingers crossed with that. We also extracurricular, we love to do things regarding fundraising and supporting charities. So this year we supported a male mental health charity, and we're very much looking to who we're going to support next year. And also we got many of our students are really, really dedicated to supporting our environment and conservation projects. Going out, doing beach cleans. We've gone across the Devonport Park, been working over there. We're working really hard to try and stop using single life plastics and kind of getting really involved in those things that are so, so important to our community. Of course, we're open to suggestions. Currently in our preparations, we know we are going to have restrictions, as all schools will, with going back. However, we still believe we will be able to offer lots of extra opportunities that other schools and colleges may not be able to offer.
Excellent, thank you, Jo. A question for Matt, and this is from somebody who's a nervous interviewer. Have you got any top tips for calming down nerves during interviews?
I hate being interviewed myself. Something that we do offer to schools, and we would like to do again next time around. We offer we can come around to schools and do interview coaching, so we can offer practice and dummy sessions, and they give you tips face to face. So by the time it actually comes round to the interview itself, you've got a bit more of an understanding of what to expect. Other than that, you can maybe talk to people that have applied for our role or similar roles. Maybe speak to your parents if they've applied for any sort of job at all and had an interview. They'll be able to give you some tips. The more you practice, the better you will get. Not just interviews. That's that's good life advice, really.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Matt.
Hi there, it's Hannah here. I would also like to, can you hear me all right? Yeah, oh lovely, brilliant. Yeah, no, I'd also like to sort of like share my thoughts on that as well, having, you know, worked in careers and recruitment myself. So one of the key things I would say is research. So make sure that you've really researched the company and also research the role, so you know exactly, you know, what it is that, well, obviously you're not going to be a specialist in it, but you've got a good understanding, because sometimes we'll have people coming to interviews and we'll say, what do you know about Babcock? And they don't know about Babcock. So really research the company is like a really, really good tip. Make sure that you know what you're going into interview. And what I generally say is, if there's a job spec there, before you're, you know, way before your interview with your prep, you go through with a highlighter and you highlight bits that you can actually talk about, so then you can relate. So if, for example, you want to be a fabricator, you can then give an example of what you've done. Now, you might not have fabricated, but you might have created something, and then you can talk about it. So it's really a case of, you know, making sure that you're researching, that you know about the company, and you know that you can prep as much as possible. But obviously, you know, we can answer more questions there. We do actually have a little CV hints and tips available as well, which I can pass to Peter, and you know, he could always pass it over. All right, sorry, thank you.
Thank you, Hannah, and just a little flavour of some of the advice that our students are lucky enough to have access to. A question for Ben and Victoria, and Adam, you can chip in as well if you'd like. How easy was it to get used to calling your teachers by their first names?
Well, for me, it was quite difficult at the start, because through all of school, it's you're calling your teachers by that, like the Mr., and being able to have that colleague sort of relationship with teachers was very, very difficult. And I still found myself calling teachers sir and things. But you may feel like you're being unpolite at the start, but it's not. It's just really, it's a really comfortable environment.
Lovely, thank you. And I've just had a little message off Polly. Polly, thank you very much, Ben.
Yeah, I was just going to, just following on from what Matthew and Hannah was saying about that confidence. And one of the things I think that we've seen with our students at the UTC is the growth of their confidence through our oracy program. And so students are all encouraged to present, to speak at all our big assemblies and our reward assemblies. We do encourage students to come up and tell them about our experience. Anyone who's been here is always roped into taking people around to you know, come in and speak to dignitaries who come to the school. So we are always encouraging people to visit, and you never know who you might bump into at a UTC. So yes, we've had lots of people, kind of the mayor and our Secretary of State, Gavin Williamson, lots of very high up naval people, including our local admiral. And I think that gives students that kind of understanding and that confidence of how to speak in public, and how that will help them in that interview process. So that is something that is very unique to the UTC.
Thank you very much, Polly, and I'm testament to that as well. Even staff have to be on their best behaviour and prepared to meet whoever walks in the door. It really is a very vibrant place to be. I think we've probably got time for one more question, and I'd like to bring Pete back, simply because this really has the potential to be incredibly timely. What do we offer a year 14 programme for those students that perhaps have been doing resits and perhaps still haven't got the grade or the apprenticeship that they desire? Pete?
Yeah, great question, Justine, particularly given the current climate of how we are. There's a lot of students that are leaving post-19, I think, are going to have to be making quite a sort of a really brave decision as to what their future is, because a lot of universities are looking like they might be going virtually, and then apprenticeships might not be available for starting points in September. It might be a January start point, or it might be a next summer start point. So for some students, they're going to be in limbo. So the year 14 program is something that we've looked at, and we've been able to put together a package for IT, for information technology. So students would be able to come in for a 1-year course, and it's pretty similar to our engineering one, where it's an upskilling course and the ability to sort of become a technical IT technician, and then look to then proceed into an IT apprenticeship in 12 months time. So it might be for those that aren't sort of sure what they want to do in September, and again, we're open to being approached for students to come to us and talk to us about that opportunity, and we'll try and hopefully answer the questions for them.
Excellent, thank you very much, Pete. So I can still see that there's a few unanswered questions there, ranging from our younger students who are excited about exploring their options for year 7, and a couple of potential year 9 students as well, but we'll get back to you individually, and thank you very much for engaging. Thanks for being wonderful guests, and I'm going to hand over to Polly for our final goodbyes. Thank you.
Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed the presentation by UTC Plymouth. If you want to engineer your future by joining a college that really cares about your next steps, then please get in touch via our social media, email or phone. And I'd like to also say a big thank you to our panel, including our partners, Matt and Hannah and Paul, and our students, Victoria and Ben, and also to Adam, an old friend of the UTC. So thank you, and thank you for joining us.